So you come in here this morning and you've got a bit of drippy tummy.
I have.
And instead of your normal order of I'll have an iced latte,
Indeed,
you're having some peppermint tea, which was recommended by the good people the other side of the glass there. The peppermint tea is brought to you, and now apparently you can't drink it.
It's vile. I'd rather drink it out of an unflushed toilet. It's awful. It's a disgusting taste.
It's meant to calm your stomach.
It's making me feel worse. And you know, I am taking Imodium, which proves the fact that I'm not full of certain things.
Yes, okay. Take more Imodium. And I'm hoping to get to about 1 o'clock and get out of here in one piece. Tonight, Arsenal and Newcastle go head to head in the Carabao Cup semi-final first leg. It's live in talkSPORT. But tonight, we'll also be hearing for the first time in stadium VAR announcements, trialled for the first time, as I say, in English football. So in other words, Simon, we're going to be able to hear the conversation, and so often what are they actually talking about? Why the delay? Why the delay? Why don't we know what they're talking about? And incidentally, what are they talking about? For the first time tonight, the referee is going to tell you what decision has been arrived at and how they got there. It was trialled recently over in Australia, and this is how it sounded.
David Strilic has a look. Let's have a look. I think this might be overturned. Let's have a listen.
After on-field review, the ball strikes the arm of number 33. However, the arm is in a natural position. Therefore, no penalty, drop ball to the goalkeeper.
Yeah. So there we go. We get on-field the announcement of what actually happened.
Sounds like about 700 people in that stadium. When we've got 50,000 in the stadium, let's see how that one works out. I was against in principle the idea that you keep on acquiescing to the demands of what people think they're entitled to know. But having been in football stadiums and seen VAR operating the way it's operated, and seeing the fact that the paying spectator inside the stadium is less privileged than anybody else, it feels that there has to be a balance between what's happening on the screen and the manner in which it's being communicated. Whether this works, because all it's going to do is engender that booing and jeering and ridiculing of a decision multiplied by about 70, given the scale and tribalism of English football.
But Simon, you often say it. What more do you want? You know, they're trying their hardest. The in-stadium announcement idea is to provide greater clarity and understanding for fans in the stadium and those watching at home.
I think that's
you can't
right.
forget the many millions watching at home.
There's no implied, but they're privy to lots of things, aren't they? Because they're getting to see on screens and seeing lines being drawn and all kinds of stuff. Whereas inside
but you've been calling for more clarity, quite rightly.
I have, as a result of now seeing over the last couple of years the failings of VAR and the inability to get to decisions quickly that leaves people sitting in a stadium for 2 or 3 minutes. This is an entertainment business, and you can't lose sight of that.
Yeah.
And so when you stop entertaining and you start creating confusion and then you start creating unrest, all of a sudden it gets filled by something else. So I think it's a natural extension of a VAR system that should be doing better than it's doing. It should be quicker, more effective. It should be automated. It should be, to some extent, removing the necessity because by communicating to people something that 50% of the audience don't want to hear and 50% of the audience do want to hear, you're not going to eradicate dissent. You're just going to eradicate one side of the argument. So basically, we want to know what's going on. Okay, what's the benefit of wisdom if it doesn't benefit the wise? So you now know what's going on. You now know the process. What do you feel about that then? Well, I don't like the decision. Oh, okay then. It's not going to alter the landscape. It's just going to take away one of the complaints. Whatever there is, whatever there isn't, whatever you haven't got in sport is the reasons why you're unhappy about something. And it's, like the idea we were talking about yesterday about why don't people just get on with things? Why don't people just get on with things? Because it's not the nature of sport in this country. It's not what we've engendered as a media. It's not what sport's engendered. It's not what managers think that they're entitled to. And so now we've got a situation where VAR has been brought in. It's created confusion because it hasn't worked at a level that it should have worked at. It's been far too time-consuming to get to decisions. So, of course, you have to communicate. Yeah. I've sat in stadiums and gone, no. This can't be right. You cannot have fans sitting in a football stadium in a live event for 4 minutes, not understanding what's going on, whereas people potentially somewhere else are sitting at home in the comfort of their home are being privy to information that ultimately the paying spectator isn't. That doesn't seem right. Now, do I think this will be the end of it? Do I think this will be the ultimate equation for fans? Well, they're going to boo and jeer and shout, but half of them not going to be able to hear what's being said. because they're going to be too busy hissing and booing and screaming and shouting whatever they feel like shouting.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it does, but what it does is it takes one argument. Well, we're not privy to it. Well, now you are.
Now you are. Exactly. There's a message coming in. The in-game thing is garbage. The stadium announcer tells the fans why there is a VAR check. Let's listen to the actual conversation during the decision-making process. Yes, I agree with that, but IFAB won't let us have that.
Well, I mean, how realistic is that? I mean, I suppose as part of the
rugby do it now. Watch rugby.
I think it's a different environment in rugby for a start. I mean, there's a different noise level, different sort of engagement, different sort of respect for officialdom. There is no respect for officialdom in football. There isn't. From the fans through to the coaches, through to the players, it's a balancing act. And sometimes they're not worthy of respect. You've got to be worthy of respect. You shouldn't just be given it. So I do accept that. But there is a school of thought which suggests that maybe if football clubs in this modern world that we want to live in want to build an app into people's phones so people can listen to VAR as a result of being inside a stadium, connect to the Bluetooth that's inside a stadium, and they can hear it, then fine. But broadcasting it across a stadium, a conversation going on between two people, would to me seem like over-egging the pudding. But it will quell the noise that people have got conspiracy theories, the ridiculous observations that Keown was making yesterday about the idea that two referees wouldn't contradict one another because they didn't want to step on one another's toes.
Sure.
I thought that was a silly argument.
Well, I mean, tonight we're going to see how this works. Arsenal go head-to-head with Newcastle. Carabao Cup semi-final first leg. So it's a big match. Now, there will be a few contentious decisions of that, there is no doubt. For the first time, we'll hear in-stadium VAR announcements. And it's all because of what? To provide greater clarity. Surely, Joe, Manchester United fan, you're having that. Good morning.
Good morning. Hi. Yes, I mean, I agree with VAR because I want as many correct decisions as possible. Now, in fairness to the guys in the shed, sometimes it may take them 90 seconds, 2 minutes to actually get the feed, hence why it's taken so long. But I don't know that. I'm just surmising. But the most important component in the game of football, we the fans are. We are the most important component, much more important than those good-for-nothing footballers. So we deserve to understand why that decision's come about. Whether it's right or wrong, I would like to know. I'm paying good money. I want to know why.
Are you having this? So, in principle, Joe, you're having this tonight. I mean, let's watch it. Let's hear what goes on. I mean, the game's live in talkSPORT. You'll hear the in-stadium announcement. At the moment it is made live in talkSPORT tonight. We'll hear it for the first time. So, are you having that, Joe? In terms of this is progress.
We've got to start somewhere, but I do take Simon's point. Football fans are not the same as rugby fans. So there may be a lot of booing and you can't hear a thing. But we have to start somewhere. And I maintain the point, we the fans are the most important component in the game of football. I'm paying to see these clowns play. I want to see and hear what the right decision is. I want to understand why we never got the penalty. Why is that handball or not?
Joe, I have to say, your call has tickled Mr. Jordan to my right here.
He's coming out of the Simon Jordan playbook of describing footballers. So why are you calling players clowns? Is it because you're a Man United fan at this moment in time, dissatisfied with your fare?
Yeah, well, my players are a bunch of clowns, I have to say. Hopefully we'll get better. But I invest a lot of time, money, and emotion in football.
Yeah.
But I hate your players, I hate my players, I hate them all. They're all horrible pieces of work. I know I'm generalising. But unfortunately, I'm invested in football. I have a passion for it.
Let's see what happens tonight, Joe, and then we'll have a further discussion about it. It's live in talkSPORT. Arsenal against Newcastle, the Carabao Cup semi-final first leg. We'll talk about the game itself very shortly. But for the first time, we are going to hear in-stadium announcements to give greater clarity and understanding for fans in the stadium as to how a certain decision was arrived at. Thank God for that.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.